Today we are going to have a look through Bottega Veneta's website. I'm going to go through different categories and basically tell you what I think is worth getting in 2024 and what's maybe worth a little bit of a miss. Maybe it's just not worth it, whatever reason, especially because prices have gone up for a lot of brands, including Bottega Veneta. We've got to really think if we're getting our money's worth. Okay, so hopefully that's what I'm going to give you today. We're going to go through bags, shoes, a little bit of like SLGs. I'll quickly also touch on clothing, though that's a bit of like an odd one. Link's going to be below or in the shopping button on the screen. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're going to love it here. So head down and subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. I want to start off with bags, okay? It's the biggest category. And I'm going to start off with the Andiamo range. So they've recently released the Parachute, which is another sort of level to the Andiamo range. The Andiamo swept the fashion world swept it by storm. Everybody was loving it last year. We were seeing it left, right and centre. This is not a cheap bag. So they've released this Parachute range, which is a sort of different take on it. You kind of have these inverted corners, not the technical term I'm sure, and you have this sort of golden knot detail, which is the detail that sort of travels through the Andiamo bags. I think that the price is very much up there. I think that they are much more value for money Bottega bags. However, I think if this is the style that you want, you're going to get a lot of use out of it. It's very user-friendly. The one thing that I would say about some of the Bottega bags, and I will call it out as we go through them, some of the closures just simply do not exist. So something like this, if a closure is important to you, then don't go for this, because it's the only thing holding it together is the handles. But aside from that, I think it's a really great style, an easy style, and a great size, the small. Part of the Andiamo, I mean, they've also brought out the East-West, the large, all of this business. They're all nice bags, they're all great bags, you're going to get a lot of use out of them. It's also going to be a very consistent style. Definitely under Mattia Blasi. I think this is something that they will continue to add to and rework, and we'll see in different styles. To me, this isn't a style that isn't going to just like, oh, one day, what was that? One day, you know, they'll blow it away like the head of a dandelion flower, and we'll just never sort of see it again. This is definitely a core part of the brand. That might be important to some people. Some people like, I don't care if a bag gets discontinued, you know, whatever. But I just thought I'd call that out. The other bag from Bottega at the moment that is extremely popular is the long Andiamo clutch. I think this is a great bag. It's very chic. It's the alternative to the Kelly cut. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I've spoken about this bag a number of times before and we don't want you getting bored. But it has an elegance about it. It's something that I think works great for day as well as night. However, it is a bit more restrictive during the day because it is just a top handle bag. There's no crossbody, there's no hands-free, so that's something to keep in mind. Other one that's very popular is the Bang Bang vanity case. This again is an alternative to something like an L19. I do like the fact that with this, the cross body is detachable, but you can do the top handle for something that's maybe a little bit more formal, let's say. I personally would maybe go for the L19 over this because I think that there's more variety in terms of colour and materials, but if you're a Bottega person and you value Bottega over Loro Piana, then fine. So those are the sort of very popular current bags. Okay, so I saw this range. This is quite a new sort of design that they're doing, which is the Solstice. So the Solstice shoulder bag looks like this, with its sort of that going on. And then you have the mini Solstice, which has the intrecciato, and you have these sort of like little gold hardware knots at the bottom. I don't think that something like this is worth it. It's nice and everything, it has a zip, but it's flat. I need a little bit of body, right, to the bag. It's great from one angle and then from the other angle it's just a bit sort of sad looking. That's really my sort of concern. So I would say something like this. The Sunrise again is another bag that I would put into this category. This actually has a little bit more body than the other one. So if you're between the Sunrise or the Solstice, go for the Sunrise. And I also cannot talk about Bottega and not talk about the notorious Mini Jodie that was everywhere. 2 years ago, it was the bag, all of that, okay? And I do love mine. Where is she? And she's fantastic. Great bag, okay? What I will say is that unless there is a variation of this bag new from Bottega in materials that like you're obsessed with or whatever, definitely go pre-loved. There are so many of them swimming around the pre-loved market that you can get yourself a great deal, and it's like either used like new or whatever, okay? There's so many floating around in lots of different colours. If you're looking also for very specific variations, like the shearling ones, there's also a few knocking around outlets. Have a look at your local outlet, okay? If you're really obsessed with this style and you know, don't care and you just want it new from Bottega, then fine. But I wouldn't. I would say look elsewhere for those and look pre-loved, because there's lots. Let's say that you liked the Jodie, but you found it a little bit not that user-friendly, okay? Because let's be honest, it is a weasel to get into and out of, okay? You're here, and then you're here, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the thing. And half the time you don't even really close it, because it's a hassle to do so, okay? And it's semi-self-contained. I would then suggest the Mini Wallis. I think this is a great bag. I've talked about the Mini Wallis before. They do this in an even smaller size in case you don't need this much room, called the Candy Wallis. I love the fact that instead of saying micro or nano, it's just called a candy version. I need more brands to do that. That's just like very sweet. That's an excellent little marketing technique there. And look, the Mini isn't that mini. Anyway, why do I prefer this over the Mini Jodie? You have the adjustable strap. So you can have her as a top handle, and you can also adjust it a little bit further out so that you can do a shoulder bag with her as well. The colours are a little bit more neutral at the moment. I think it also makes the opening a little bit easier to get into and out of, and it's just a really, really great bag. This bag really intrigues me. It does come with a hefty price point, and I think that's because this takes a lot more leather than other bags, but it's called the Let's Go. You know I love it because it's an East-West style. It's an East-West style. It has the zip closure, but the closure also sort of folds in on itself, so it almost creates this triangular sort of pyramid situation if you're looking at it lengthways. You know what I mean, okay? So, and I just think that fold makes it quite interesting. Again, like I said, there's a lot of leather work in this. It's currently on pre-order. The blue is great. And yes, if you're thinking about something like the Elia Tekel, or you want an East-West bag and you like that sort of length bit in a shoulder bag only situation, then I think this is a good one. Just to quickly touch on the Hop, which is a sort of more evolved version of the Jodie almost. I think it's a great bag. I love these specifically that are woven with the raffia. I just think it looks great and super summery. It is very season specific. It doesn't have a closure. Both sides just fold in on each other, so think of that. Look at the tea leaf. Look at the tea leaf. Also the colour name. Oh, I love the fact that it's called tea leaf, and the other one's called sherbet. Oh, I love it. Okay, not clutch. Great bag, very sort of timeless, handheld clutch, you know, no straps. All of that hard shell. Again, I think that this is something that there's lots floating around on pre-loved for exceptional deals. The design is slightly different. The knot on top is like one knot instead of this that sort of looks like it has two. It's got extra. Slightly different. But again, I think if that's something that you're not bothered about, then pre-loved is a really, really great way to get a good deal on it. Then we have the Kabat. I don't know. Here we have it in the medium and the maxi. They do have it in smaller sizes. I think that there are lots of other very good other brand alternatives to this bag that means that you're not spending $14,500 on it. Essentially, I mean, it's just a toe. Oh, and you get thrown in a little pouch in there. That's not doing it. I'm sorry, I'm going to need more than just a little extra pouch in it for $9,500, aren't I? Touching on the sardine. Very sort of like a novelty bag, but the way that it's done makes it not feel very like childish, which I think a lot of novelty can sort of end up leaning that way. Again, this is a style that they're very much keeping to a part of their core designs. Again, the closure's a bit off, right? It sort of folds in on itself. It's also heavy. If you care about weight, this is a heavy bag, okay? That sardine, it's a hefty guy, okay? I also don't really like the thinness of the sort of crossbody or shoulder strap that comes with it. I don't know, I understand why they've done it, because a thick strap would also look weird, would it? I think actually a guitar strap in the Intrecciato weave is less weird than this sort of like skinny little... That's my beef with that. But if you want something that's going to be part of the core line, blah, 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 they do it in lots of different variations, then yeah, don't do it. They're still selling it, I know. You would have thought like, oh, you don't need to tell me this because the time has passed. This is incredibly heavy, okay? It's such a fun bag, it's such like a statement, but it really, it's wearing on your shoulder. It really is, okay? And then if it's on your crook of the elbow, good luck to you there as well. This is the chain, by the way, that I'm referring to. The normal cassette, I think, is like definitely a bit more of a timeless piece. I think this one is definitely more on the trendy side. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that if that is your style and you're going to rework it in lots and lots of different ways. But if that's something that you're worried about something being in, then this is not the one to get. They also have this. This is interesting. This is the Calimero. And when they do this range, no matter the style in this range, it's this sort of pleated Intrecciato weave. It's like a chunkier weave. It's got a bit more texture to it than the normal Intrecciato, and so it bulks it up, and also the price gets bulked up too. Down this shoulder bag route, I love the white and the blue of this. It's, if you want something a little bit different, you don't mind paying a little bit more, and you appreciate the way that this looks. It almost ends up looking like raffia, the way that they've done this weave with the leather. Then I think that this is nice. I don't like a lot of the other Calimero bags, to be honest with you, but I thought that it worked in this style. And then in terms of like an easy win, you want just like a small, easy crossbody running around town, getting your errands done, that's going to go with everything, then the Intrecciato concert pouch is that. I think this is a good one. It's really going to be this against the loop bag, but this is obviously a much more palatable price point compared to the loop. They also now do the loop with like little metal toggles at the end, little metal knots, sorry. No frills, but you're gonna get a lot of use out of it bag. Quickly to touch on Bottega clothing, this is a tough one for me to like go through and say what's worth it and what's not, because ready to wear is a bit of a weird one in that respect. It's very much driven by obviously your style, the pieces that you value, you know, like they're selling a pair of jeans for what, $900 or something like that, and it's like, okay, well not that one, not the printed leather one that's $7,000. Don't get that. That's probably going to go to outlets if you really want it, but you really don't need printed leather jeans, don't worry. These are really sick. Cassie, this is not what this video is about. Yeah, I know, but here we are, okay? Yeah, they're just Intrecciato. Again, 9,900. Am I in the market? No. That's like a piece of the archive, you know? But is it worth 9,900? No, it's not. A lot of Bottega clothing does go into the sale, and a lot of it goes to the outlet as well. So do check those areas. Now, with regards to shoes, I was recently at the outlets, and let me tell you, do not spend your money on the Stretch Mule. Okay, we've seen this, we know her, she's been around. And the Lido. The Lido is there in every colour under the rainbow, alright? Go to your local outlet, get it there if you want it. Do not pay full price for them, because they are in abundance, okay? What's also really interesting as well, and you'll sort of see these on certain brands, is that the styles that they're highlighting or they're really pushing at the moment, they will have sort of like sectioned out from the rest, so you can sort of see the ones that they're maybe going to focus on more on as a house. You'll see more and more variations. So you have the Cha-Cha, the Blink, Orbit, the Knot, Tex, Canalazzo, Atomic, and the Stretch, okay? If you want something with longevity that's not going to get discontinued, then that's a good thing to kind of like look into. A lot of the shoes aren't that exciting to me at the moment. I do like the Cha-Cha Mule if you're a muley person, then they're great, but a lot of them don't really excite me that much, to be honest with you. I think that the Knot shoes are good because the Knot really gives this sort of sculptural, interesting heel that feels very Bottega, feels very different. I think that that's cool. I detest this atomic thing because I cannot stand that heel. It looks like a toilet paper roll. It's just, I'm not a fan. I don't know what it is about it, because it's all it is just a wide cylindrical heel, but it's rubbing me the wrong way. Alright, it's just, I do like the Adam. I think if you want a fun shoe, but also the very statementy Bottega shoes do tend to go into sales, so keep that in mind. But the Adam sandal is my favourite. I think it's bump, it's ceremony, it's excitement, it's I'm going on holiday, let me put these shoes on with the most simple and basic of dresses or two-piece or whatever, and that's all you need to do. Now, in terms of wallets, initially was worried about the metallic ones because Bottega did a few metallic pieces a couple of years ago that cracked. But I think that they've since worked on that because the newer ones, I know 3 people that have them and I'm very jealous. They have the card holders or wallets or whatever and all of them look to be in pristine condition and they're just a bit of fun, and I love colourful pops anyway, but I think if you are a bit scared of it, a great way to start is with your wallet because it's something that's not on show all of the time and that can bring a little smile on your face as you're foraging through your things to find it stands out. And it's fun. If you can't have fun with colour in any other part of your wardrobe, then a wallet is where you can, you know, have a little bit of excitement. So I do like all of the metallic sort of styles. The Andy Armour wallets are a bit bulky with the thing at the front, so keep that in mind if you want something a little bit slim, profile, that's just going to slip in and not going to bother any other items in the bag. Now, I did a video recently talking about designer belts, what you should look for, all of that. And there are 2 belts that I kind of want to talk about here. The Intrecciato belt is cool. It's interesting with that kind of like gold thing. A lot of the belts are great, okay? They're simple, they do the job, they go with a lot. There's nothing crazy on that that's going to take away from an outfit or you have to, you know, sort of take into account when building a look, right? But I will say they do a lot of these sort of tie belts that annoy me. So for example, this, you're giving me one more thing to do, and we all know the tie belts are a nuisance. You're adjusting them throughout the day, they don't stay in place, you're having to essentially, you know, become a sailor with a certain level of nautical expertise in order to get this sodding belt to stay up. I find it very annoying, so I do not think they are worth it. I also do not like, they also have the Andiamo belt. My issue with this is that it is one size and one size only. Now, my issue with this is that it seems, and listen, if I'm wrong here, tell me, but this just seems to be one length of rope that attaches one time. There is no adjustability in that. You're gonna hope that either the small, medium, or large perfectly fits you. God forbid if you wear this to lunch, food baby rears its head and you need to adjust, because then just take the belt off, you know? So I do think in terms of the design, this wasn't really thought through. But I hope that this video helped. I hope that, you know, I maybe got you to consider some things that you maybe didn't, maybe see something you like, maybe I talked you out of something, whatever it is. Let me know if you want me to do this for any other brands. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye, guys.